All right, so what is sports? See, so me, my whole life, I have not really been that invested in sports as like as a as a watcher, as a viewer, as a concept. Sports has never really been my thing, but I know a lot about sports because I have a lot of friends who like sports. So I'm gonna try to explain to you what sports is. Okay, so basically, sports is like a physical activity that's like a game. Usually there's like a ball. So like there's soccer balls and there's that's not a soccer ball. That looks so. Well, there's balls usually. There's some sort of like goal that you have to achieve. So whether that be like scoring points or usually it's scoring points or in some sports like my favorite sports, you climb up a wall on these little holes and rocks and the goal is to get to the top with, well, it depends on the format. We'll talk about that later. So sports has been something that's been around for literal thousands and thousands of years, right? I think the Romans first invented the Olympics and their sports were a lot cooler than ours. You see, America turned the Roman like gladiator fights, like in the Colosseum, from something really cool and like exciting for like literal fights with swords and animals and maybe some questionable ethics, but we don't talk about those ethics, to something extremely boring called baseball, where you have this dude with a bat who tries to hit a ball as hard as he can, have someone else not catch the ball because you don't want people to catch the ball, or hit it out of the park, and that's called a home run. But like 9 times out of 10, because these people are trained to they catch the ball, so literally nothing happens for like half the game, and you have like 0-1 until the last inning, which is the last section of the game, and then they score all the points in the game, and it's like, why did I even waste my time watching this when I could have watched The Gladiator 4 times and seen so much cooler things? Anyway, enough about boring sports like basketball or football. Well, there is also, Americans have football. Well, it looks like a loaf of bread. And then everyone else in the world has football. And so this is not looking like a football. So for Americans, that's soccer. And but football makes more sense because in American football, people only kick. And that's like to kick into this goal or to kick it across the field like that, like a karate kick, to get it to the other side of the field or something so that the other team or your team, something about that. Anyway, my favorite sport and the only sport that I've really related to, right? I've tried basketball in my years. Didn't really like basketball because I'm short and Asian and I couldn't reach. Oh, look at me. And I also tried baseball, but for many reasons, like me not being able to hit a bat or hit with a bat, I couldn't play baseball that well. My team got, I think, we got to the finals. We failed the finals, but we had an undefeated record, and that was not because of me. I was basically just the guy in the outfield doing nothing because no kid could hit that far. I was out here like, that one Calvin and Hobbes thing, like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Coach. And that's it. But my favorite sport and the only sport that I've really, really gotten into is rock climbing. Oh. So basically, rock climbing is so metal. Oh yeah. I'm a rock climber. I climb up these walls like Spider-Man and I get to the top and I just feel that adrenaline. Oh, that's adrenaline. Okay. So rock climbing, it's really a sport of self-discovery. It's really about challenging yourself on the wall and figuring out how to get up the wall more efficiently and just getting stronger. So when you go to a rock climbing gym, you're going to see something called V grades. And that's different from outside numerical grades that go from like 5.10, so like 510 to like, I think the hardest one's like 515. I don't know. Anyways, so there's the V grade. And as the V skill gets higher, to like V15, the routes get harder, and it starts out a VB or V intro. But as you get better in climbing, you realize none of this matters at all, and V grades are completely useless and subjective, because all the strong climbers who can climb like V13 at your gym think that all the V10s should be like a V2. And then all the weaklings, just like you, who think the V5 over there is like a V17, then it doesn't matter, because everyone is just doing their own thing, which is why I like climbing. Because it's not, you can compete, and I tried it, but it's not as fun. And not to mention, there's rocks outdoors. You can go climbing outside on real rocks, and that's really cool. So mainly the climbing that I just talked about is indoor climbing, because that's the most accessible to me at the moment. I'm not in like a mountain. I'm not in Yosemite. I'm not at the Grand Canyon. But outdoor climbing and bouldering is good. But what's even better is something called lead climbing, where some insane nut jobs in like the 80s or whatever put up these little anchor spots on literal cliff faces, where you climb with a rope that you attach at these little spots as you go up, rather than having like a rappel line all the way down. You are the one responsible for basically avoiding your own death. So when you climb up, you hook into these things, and that is what these 510 and 516 grades refer to, because they're hard. There's also some weird stuff with grading, like letters. So you thought it was just numbers, but no, you got letters too. So you got a V10B or something, and V11C or something. And that's like, oh, well, V11C is basically half as hard as V10B. So like if you climb the V11C, it's not really V11, it's more like V10D or something. So that's all I know about sports. Oh, there's also sports betting. Sports betting is also really fun. Sports betting, I've never done it. I don't endorse it. Don't gamble. But sports betting exists. There's also esports for people like me who have no lives and who are little skinny little shrimps who can only, shoot with a mouse and not a real gun. And yeah, that's about it.